It's Monday already? My God, I didn't think it went that fast. Oh, it's Tuesday. What's going on? Well, I don't know. It looks to me that the markets are at I'd call it decision point. The decision 2022. Man. Anyways, I don't know. We'll see. It looks interesting. I would say that. Okay. I think that if you looked at a couple of things today, gold was pretty ugly. If you think about it, I mean, this is almost like a reversal pattern. We're still short it, but pretty ugly. Silver was pretty ugly. The equities got pretty ugly, but they're kind of just churning. But we got some pretty big divergences between the indexes. Now we're still long, so I mean, again, I'm not suggesting that that's changing at the moment. I'm just looking at the overall price action, but lots of things going on, and nothing overall is what I would call great at the moment. You've got inflation, which I don't know. I guess they don't want to tell us about it, but inflation is soaring. Prices are going to Pluto, and we sit here and do nothing about it. Okay. And of course, we have our geniuses flying all over the country, but we'll talk about that later. You can go one of three ways: up, down, and nowhere. That's true. Okay. SPY seems ready to flush. Well, it could. Look, again, right now, I can only say that we are long. Okay. Can it flush? Yeah, sure it could. Look, I don't have the crystal ball or the magic answer of when it's gonna change. Look, you know what my overall view is. I think we're going down 60%. Okay. But I could make a better case today, for example, that we're going to rally from here, then break. Okay. But I don't have an opinion. That's the point. Okay. I have an opinion, but I don't trade from it. Okay. Even through drawdowns, the algorithm still work best over everything else over the long haul. Okay. Over the long run, the algorithms are the best thing the best thing going. Okay. And I know we went through a long period of drawdown. I understand it. The markets have been virtually impossible. Okay. There's been a few spots here and there, but when you look at the big picture, I mean, why are commodities getting killed? Okay. Explain the logic of why commodities are getting crushed here. Okay. There's no logic behind. There's no acceptable answer that you could give me that would explain why commodities are getting wrecked. Okay, unless it's the government assuming and buying all the land up. Okay, so that not only will they control the money, but they'll control the food. Okay, but if you look at anything from a logistical standpoint or logic, okay, commodities should not be getting crushed here. Okay, we already know what we know. There's a food shortage. Okay, the food shortage is already here, and we're not even talking about our crops that we're planting. Okay, we're not talking about the weather that we may have a problem this year. I know I got some farmers out there. What's the harvest going to look like? I know we're way too early, and I know it's way too early to tell. But if you were to guess now, what's it going to look like? Okay, just again, I guess. Look, I'm not going to hold you to it, but I do like to share what the actual people in the business are seeing. But from the people that I talk to, and then what I know, it's not in a lot of parts of this country, it's not going to be great. Okay. Now, we already have a lot of parts of this country that aren't great, even when they are great. But if we have any trouble in the real belt of production, I mean, you're talking about a dramatic food shortage. You're talking about paying dramatically higher prices at the grocery store. Okay. So again, there's a lot of reasons to believe that we should be going straight down, but the one reason to believe it's not is why? Because the price action still suggests commodities are going lower, equities are going higher. Okay. Now, does that mean that can't reverse? No, it doesn't mean anything. Well, listen, tomorrow is promised to nobody. Okay, whether it be a bull market or a bear market or whatever it is, tomorrow is promised to nobody. Tomorrow will tell us what tomorrow is going to do. Okay, now we all know that looking forward into the longer view of our own economy, okay, if they would quit changing the rules, we know we're in a recession. Okay, does anybody doubt that we are in a recession today? Okay, does anybody have any doubt that this is a recession? Okay. Well, Biden, again, please. Any normal human being, okay, any real person that actually has to suffer through what's going on. But of course, they want to change the rules of defining what a recession is. And if you go back to what I've said for, I don't know, 6 months, we've been in a recession for longer than that already. Okay. It doesn't take a brain surgeon to realize that we had no GDP. It doesn't take a brain surgeon that we have no production, we have nobody working, and companies have to pay through the nose to get help, and they still can't get help, no matter what they're willing to pay. Okay. You know, everywhere you go, I may go get a job. Listen, they're paying big money now. I mean, you know, there's no answer, and nobody has an answer for us. They want to continue on the bullshit climate change agenda. Okay, which they couldn't handle anyways. Okay, and of course, you know, in Las Vegas, for example, all the buses, all the garbage trucks are run by what? Natural gas. Okay, now why aren't we using our own natural gas? Why are we letting Russia hold up the rest of the world? Not us, but the rest of the world. Okay. You know, what is the, does the pollution less if we buy it from somewhere else? Is the pollution less? Does it change the difference in climate if we buy it from somewhere else? Okay, tell me. Maybe there's something that I'm missing. Okay, maybe I don't get it. You know, I mean, but it ain't that complicated. Okay. And yet people continue to believe in the shit that's being spewed by the imbeciles. Okay. You know, as you know, you've heard me talk about this before. I know a scientist. Now, again, does he know more than anybody? I don't know. Okay. Again, I can verify the facts that he tells me. I can't verify the meaning for whether or not there's climate change or not. However, there is another planet in this solar system known as Mars. Okay. And Mars has got 24 times the amount of carbon dioxide that Earth has. Okay. Which is what we're worried about. And of course, we're worried about climate change. And interestingly enough, the temperature variation on Mars is from 75 degrees Fahrenheit to minus 150. Okay, so where's the climate change? Okay, any connection between commodities and the coming of the digital dollar? No. I mean, not the pricing. I mean, the digitizing of the currency is going to be murder. Okay, because they're going to digitize everything. Okay, look, if you do anything that you're not supposed to be doing, okay, whether it be gambling somewhere or whatever you do that you want other people to know, you better get it out of your system now. Okay, because the minute they digitize everything, every bit of your privacy is gone. Everything that was private will no longer be private. Okay, because they will be able to track your ass no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, because you will leave a digital footprint everywhere you go. Okay. Why do the big boys want to be seen? The big boys don't care. You understand what goes on in this? Do you understand what this party has done? Okay, that's in power right now. Okay. They have destroyed all of the moderate and small business. I'm not talking about Russell companies. I'm talking about mom and pop, the drugstore down the street, the pharmacist that you want to go talk to, the little 5 and dime store that you might take your grandchildren to. Okay. They put everyone else out of business. They have picked the winners and the losers, and the winners are Google, Amazon, Walmart, okay, and a few other big timers. The losers are everybody else. Okay. They have systematically eliminated all competition. Okay. Now, the United States works best on what? Competition. Competition makes you better, stronger, and it's better for the consumer. Okay. Well, they have taken that away from you. There is no more competition. There is no competition for Google. Okay. You might say Microsoft's garbage or Yahoo, but they're not any competition to the platform. There's no competition for Twitter or Facebook. Okay. And who the hell can compete with Amazon? So what is total cave into China and Marxism? No question about it. Okay. No question about it. Now, the good news, because I don't always want to be negative, the good news is that unlike the Marxist regimes and communistic regimes around the world, we do change parties or have elections every 2 years. So we could see a change. Okay. And if we don't see a change, you better get your bulletproof vest on, and you better hide, because there's going to be a revolutionary. There's going to be a revolutionary war in this country. Okay, you can bet on it. Okay, because people are not going to continue to take what's going on here. Okay, and believe me, okay, the right people have the right weapons and the right amount of money to make that happen if something should happen here. But, so we look, and first of all, we get no business, right? So the markets are like pathetically quiet. I mean, we're trading at about 40% of normal volume, 50%. We're already lower, right? We've seen volume declining for quite a while anyways. But it just keeps getting worse. Okay, it keeps getting slower. And Connie, I'm going to ask, I just want to make sure until let a few more people get here, just so I didn't forget. Okay. Knowledge and dialogue is the way out of this mess. We have been warned. Yeah, well, again, we'll hopefully we will work our way out. You have to believe in something, okay? And I do believe in the United States of America, okay? I am an American, okay? I ain't going anywhere, okay? Although I've thought about it, but I'm an American, and I want this country to survive. I want it to survive for my kids, your kids, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, whatever, okay? But I am obviously very, very concerned as to what's going on. And I'm even more concerned when I watch what goes on in these markets with what's going on in the rest of the world. But again, money goes to where it feels like it's treated best. Okay. And it's still the markets. Just closed my 3rd bicycle store, supply demand, few American frame makers, not done, none, and buy well, again, and of course, do you recall what I said to you when they first came out with the taxes and they swore that it would only be on people that made more than $400,000 a year for taxes? Do you remember that? Okay. Well, now guess what? Everybody's going to pay more taxes now. Okay. Not just those of the high earners. Everybody's going to pay more taxes now. Okay. You're in Vegas. Where's your bicycle store? Maybe I'll come and buy a bike before you go out, before you close. I haven't ridden a bike for so long. I got to come. Where's it at? Okay. Better you own a gun store, so you could be my FFL dealer. But where's your gun store at? I mean, your bicycle store. But you have to just look at what's going on. Okay, and see. In Palm Springs. I thought you're in Vegas. How come I thought you're in Vegas? Anyways, but the markets are the markets, and again, we're going to see a potential change. Again, I don't know if there's anything that can be done to prevent the next election. I don't know if they can get martial law in place. Okay. I don't, again, those are well above my pay grade. Okay. But I'm sure there's something that could go wrong. Okay. And quite frankly, I wish the other president would shut up already, the old president. Okay. And I don't want him to be the next president in 2 years. I want like DeSantis or whoever. Okay. I want a possible two-termer. Okay. But at the end of the day, okay, we got problems. Okay. But problems and markets don't necessarily have to be in correlation of one another, because what you have is you still have money that's going to be invested. Okay. And now that you're putting the money in the hands of the people that can invest more, it could hold the markets up a little bit longer. Okay. Now think about it, right? The average guy or girl or whatever on the street, okay, they're paying more for gas, food, energy. They're paying more for everything. Okay. So certainly their investing dollars are certainly diminished. If they were investors at all, they've been diminished. Okay. Yeah, they're transitory. Okay. I'm transitory. Okay. I'm transitioning. Okay. I don't know what I'm going to become, but I'm transitioning. Maybe I'll transition to the Burger Girl. Okay. But so you look at it and you go, so if they're funding their IRA, right? Because typically the first money from most comes from funding an IRA. Okay. If they're investors, some people just don't invest, right? Some people don't have any money to invest, period. But those who do, so if we start with that group, most of them, if they have any brains, will fund their IRAs first or Roth, whatever they're going to do, and then move on from there. But now I'll bet you when we see a statistic later about IRAs and Roths, I'll bet you're going to see a dramatic drop in the amount of money that was put in this year. Okay. Why? Well, because people don't have the money. Because that's why, when you keep stripping people of capital, of cash, right? I mean, go to the gas station, fill your car up twice a week. Okay. That's about 2 dinners out, or 3 dinners, 5 dinners. Okay. So that money's not coming in. Okay. You still have the workers who have, 401ks at work or retirement plans or profit sharing. So that money still comes in. But then the balance, great wealth is kept and built in the times of the biggest struggle for the majority of the country. That's why the wealth is still in the 1%. Okay. Because they still buy and buy and buy. It has very little effect on those wealthy that have liquid wealth, not the imaginary paper wealth, but the liquid wealth. Okay. What do you say, Ash? Most people would rather drive a new car instead of, well, that's true too. Okay. Most people would rather drive a new car. Okay. So when you look at the picture, okay, so they're going to still continue to invest, but that is a good reason to believe there's less volume. I mean, they're only going to buy so much, but you have these problems, and we're not even scratching the potential surface of where these problems expand to. Okay. You don't think China is a real threat? What did I tell you 6 months ago? That they were going into Taiwan no matter what this jackass said. Okay. And what's happening right now? Are they talking about going into Taiwan right now? Okay. Look, again, it's not that I know more than anybody else, but certainly if you're a realist and you just understand, have some regular old common sense, okay, you're going to know what's happening around you. Okay. If you want to live in this bullshit fantasy land that you think you're living in, with the potential of green energy, which we couldn't support under any circumstances for the next 40 years, okay, which is all bullshit anyways, because at the end of the day, the environment is not, we are not having climate change. We are having the natural evolution that happens every 80,000 years. Okay. This is not new. We have had this happen before. Okay. Just go back into the history of the earth. Okay. Go back to your dinosaur years, 65 million years ago. Okay. Well, if Trump was still the president, none of this would have happened. I agree. I'm in 100% agreement with that. But now, I don't want him as the president because I want somebody, if we get somebody new, I want a 2-term potential. I don't want 1 term. I wish he'd stay out of these elections because he's still very much hated by what he says all the time. And I think a lot of people regret the fact that they let their hatred get in the way of their vote, but many did. Okay. So, but he was a great president, in my opinion. You can disagree with me. Listen, I'm sure 50% of you will disagree with me, but that's fine. I thought he was great. I thought the country was in great shape. We had the best, the highest amount of minority workers. Okay. We had the highest amount of women working. We had the highest wages we had in history. Okay. We weren't under threat by China. We had China under control. Russia would not be at war with Ukraine right now if Trump was in office, okay? And these problems would not exist, okay? But these are self-created problems when you want to destroy the middle class, okay? And I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate right here, hate mail or hate right here, but that's okay. Hey, fire away, I'm ready, okay? Now, again, I don't know, I can't speak to FDR, I don't know nothing about it, okay? Other than what I read in the history books, and I don't know nothing about it. I don't read. I'm illiterate, so I don't know. I can only comment on things that I actually know. Okay. I appreciate your candid, no BS discussion. You cut to the chase. We are in a serious situation. Thank you. Yeah, listen, again, I just want to be honest. I want you to know what I'm thinking. Listen, I do the same thing on TV. Okay. I tell them what I'm thinking. Okay. Even if I'm on the opposite side of the market, which sometimes I am. Even right now, I'm on the opposite side of what I think. Okay. You think I really want to be long right here? Okay. I want to be long like I need another, I don't know. I got to be careful what I say. I'm getting a little bit too, check the article I posted. The left will hate any conservative that gets nominated. Trump said, yeah, well, that's 100%. That's a fact. Okay. At this point, the left will hate any, oh yeah. No, we get that. Okay. Listen, again, there's an agenda that is going on right now. Okay, but the real problem is the agenda is not for the love of country. That's what bothers me. I love this country. Okay. And the things that are happening, if they were truly meant for the love of the country, I could listen to them better. But they're not. Okay. I mean, the first thing is you elected, not you, but we elected a racist president to begin with. And I'm not the guy that runs to racism all the time and calls everybody a racist, but this guy happens to be factual. Okay. It's not my imagination. It's not me making up some words. He voted for every racist bill that since he's been in office. That's a fact. Okay. Just go back and listen to the debates. Kamala Harris called him out on it. Okay. And he hates Jews. Okay. So where do you think he stands in my book? Okay. You know, maybe he got run over by a truck. But anyways, but that is the markets do what the markets do either way. That's what you got to want to remember. Yes, we're seeing a dramatic devaluation, which has been going on forever. Okay. Again, this is not just this administration. You know, the minute they allowed the Federal Reserve to exist in 1913, okay, the creatures from Jekyll Island, okay, the minute they let those jackasses in, that was the end. Okay, that was the end of your dollars. That is more of a cause to our problems than anything else. Okay, The Federal Reserve is a bunch of crook, thieves, pieces of garbage. How do I really feel? I'd like to tell you how I really feel, but I can't use that many expletives. Okay. But they've done nothing but destroy our currencies across the globe. Okay. Because again, the central bankers are in it together. Okay. These are like a joint effort to continue to devalue currency. Okay. And why are they devaluing? Because then it's the same as, you've heard this before. You know that you've heard it in 1776 if you're alive, or you're in your history books. You've heard it from me before. Taxation without representation. Okay. Those are blind taxes that you never really see. Okay. But you know you're paying more. Okay. So you can tell me whatever you want. Okay. I will identify who's at fault here, and I will identify who's in fault in general. The $30 trillion deficit we have, or whatever it could be today, is not all this administration's fault. Okay. Remember, numbers are like geometric, right? They started at X and they multiply so fast. Listen, they've done nothing to help it. And God forbid we would do something to help our national debt. God forbid we would produce oil, sell it, and actually reduce what we owe. But better, maybe these idiots that are in Congress and in the Senate and the president, okay, and all the rest of them, and not just this administration, all of them, maybe they could actually have to live on a real budget like normal human beings, okay? Instead of spending every dime every budget season so they can get the increase every year. Why should they get the increase? That's what I want to know, okay? Why do we have to allow them to continue to increase? And that is one thing I'm still pissed off at President Trump for. He shut it down once, and if he had the balls, he would have shut it down the second time and told them to stick it up their ass. That's what he should have done, okay? Because this spending is ridiculous. Okay, we spend more money on things that have no value to the average American, okay? Like illegals. That's where we're spending a big portion of your money and my money, okay? California, 70% of your budget goes to illegal aliens. How do you like that? Okay. But you guys don't mind out there in the land of fruits and nuts paying all those big high taxes. Okay. I mean, listen, you don't mind paying taxes? Okay. Enjoy yourself. Okay. I'd kill myself if I'd lived there because of that. All right. Anyways, so here we are. We got a market. We got commodities getting crushed for whatever reason that is. Okay. I mean, again, from a logical standpoint, it makes no sense. Suddenly, the bonds decided to give way today. I don't know. It's like interesting, and yet we had a huge rally in crude early, which then gave way. Okay, all of a sudden, crude decided that it didn't want to go up anymore. Okay, why? Hell if I know. Okay, and and all day I kept saying, well, why isn't natural gas going up? If they're talking about Iran or Iraq, I forgot. You told me, Captain. Who are you telling me about? Which one of the criminals? Iranian. Okay. The Iranian, with their nuclear program, let me read what was written to me. Okay. I'm going to read this verbatim. IAEA's Grossi says Iranian nuclear program is moving ahead very, very quickly and is growing in ambition and capacity. Okay. Now, why is that? Why are we allowing that? Okay. Again, if this doesn't show you how dumb these, and again, I keep saying dumb. They're not dumb. They're systematically dismantling the American way. Okay. What was that in the Superman? Truth, justice, and the American way. Well, we get no truth. We get no justice, and they're trying to disable the American way. Okay, that's what we got now in place. Okay, but all of them spend way too much money. There is no reason that the United States of America should be busted and always chasing money by taxes. Okay, there is no reason for that. Okay. And so it goes back to the original question. Why do they not have to live on a normal budget like everybody else? If you or I lived like that, we'd be in jail or bankruptcy court. And of course, if we were in bankruptcy court, we couldn't get our credit card debt waived because the lobbyists there got that taken off the bankruptcy laws. Anyways, does anybody know a good lawyer in Massachusetts, or is anybody here a good lawyer in Massachusetts? I need to know one, not for me, but for my very good friend. If you do know one, please either post or email me, okay, so I can pass it on. Because I don't deal with the East Coast. Okay, I try not to go east of the Mississippi. Okay, they tried the Federal Reserve at least 100 years before it was created. Yeah, they tried it. They tried to do, or New Hampshire. Thank you, or New Hampshire. They tried it. You know, Andrew Biddle, it's not Biddle. Biddle and Jackson had a big battle. The first and second national banks. Okay, Better Call Saul. Okay, but I do. If you do know somebody, please let me know. Okay, it's for a very good friend of mine, so that would be very nice if you can. In the meantime, as we look at the markets, okay, so we look at the dollar. Look, the dollar's rallying. We're still long. It came right down to support. Now bouncing again. You know, but does it mean anything? Not really. Okay, you know, everybody, depending on what business or industry you're in, people are going to say, "Oh, the high dollar, it's killing my business." Okay, well, that's a bunch of horseshit. Okay, the high dollar is, we've had high dollars before. It's what is it really worth? Okay, it's not the high dollar that's hurting your business. It's the high inflation that's hurting your business, or the lack of supply. Okay, it has nothing to do with the dollar, because the correlation does not have to be today or tomorrow or next week. Over time, yes, but still, I'm still waiting for somebody to explain to me why a strong dollar, okay, or why a weak dollar so we can sell more crap for less money is valuable. Okay, to me, that does not make sense. I cannot grasp. To me, it sounds like I'm devaluing my own currency so I can sell more product for less money. That's what it sounds like to me. Anyways, dollar support about 105. We're about 105 to 107, Kenny. 105 to 107. Okay. Now, I would suspect we're going a lot higher because of what's going on. You know, remember, the dollar is not really a trading animal. It is more of a place where money runs, especially from countries, okay, that put their dollars, they buy our dollars because they're much more worried about their dollars. Okay. The euro currency, well, it's held up pretty good. It's held up better than my golf swing too, as well. But actually, we reached par. It'll be 3 weeks tomorrow, because I was in Denver. Okay, and it popped a little bit. Now we're just in this little bit of a consolidation range. I think this time down, I think you're going to see it go through par on our way to 88 cents. Okay, Kaplan and Drysdale, very expensive but good. Okay, KAPLIN and Drysdale. Do you know where they are exactly? What state specific, sir? That would be better, so we could actually, or you have a phone number for me? Anyways, so I think I still say we're going to 88 cents. Okay, that has not changed. We did get a bounce. I didn't think we'd get this strong of a bounce, but we did. But in the meantime, we are still short, and I don't see anything changing that. And in fact, if you remember, we look at a trend at a 45-degree angle. Okay, and we still could go up a little bit higher before changing. Okay. 1987 Baker, we are not defending the dollar. What happened? Well, again, they don't want to defend the dollar. Okay. Don't you understand? That's how they take money out of your pocket. Okay. That's why they don't defend the dollar. That's why we went off the gold standard. Okay. Because they don't want to defend the dollar. They want the flexibility to create more of them without having to justify and explain. Okay. Anyways, the euro currency right now, I'm not a buyer at any price. Okay, but 101.30 is support, 103 is resistance. Okay, we're obviously much lower. We're kind of mid-range right now. But again, I think you're going a lot lower, and I'm a seller of all rallies. Okay. I ain't buying this for, I don't think, I don't even want to buy it if it reverses. It ain't reversing tomorrow. I don't even want to buy it if it reverses, but I'll be forced to. Okay. So I have to follow my own rules. Bitcoin, which we actually are now long. Okay. And again, as I said last week, okay, it did look a little bit better, and it is lifting a little bit. And actually, the funny thing is, as you look at this trend, this is beautiful. Okay. It pops up a little bit, comes right back down. And if you see it continue, like for this to continue, your next high has got to be probably somewhere around 26,000. Okay. And that would mean that this trend is probably going to continue. And I think it is. Now, again, we're long. I'm long in my own, I'm long the actual crap too. Not much, not enough to make a difference. As I tell you, I'm telling you, don't get crazy. Don't buy too much if you want to play with it. Okay. I actually own more garbage. As a typical trader, I'm trying to find the next Bitcoin. Okay. Okay. Great. Thank you. I will pass that number along right now. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. In the meantime, okay, right now, as I look at this and we're long, I would suggest that probably, 22,000 is probably some support. I think you got some resistance right about 24, 25,000, but it does look much better, and like it wants to now continue to work its way higher. Okay. That's what it looks like to me. Okay. Now, again, I could be wrong, right? But I don't obviously don't speak in forked tongue. Okay. I tell you what my position is, and or what all of my positions are. In this particular case, as of now, all of my positions are long. Okay. Because I'm long the futures market for the portfolios, and I'm long in my wallet or whatever, because I don't trade that stuff. I just buy it. Right. I don't like I trade enough already. I don't need to add something to trade on weekends too. Nights and weekends more, right? Anyways, like 22 is some support, 24, 25,000 is the next area, but I think we are going to break higher. The bonds, we're long, and I hate being along bonds, but they look pretty good again, if you learn to forget about what you're looking at, which creates the bias, okay, in your mind, and you look at the pattern, pretty good pattern. I mean, it's gone up very steadily, kind of hugged every time it broke off. It looks kind of like Bitcoin. Every time it broke off, came right back down. Okay, tried to get off, came right back down. Here we are right here again. So I would suspect that maybe you'll see a rally tomorrow. Now, I prefer not. I'd prefer to get short these some and get out of them, but that's not my decision. Okay. In the meantime, it looks like you got support about 142. Let's say 142.16, and resistance about 146. Okay. And look, the trend is beautiful from a straight, just looking at a chart, not using an opinion. Okay. It looks pretty good. Okay. Again, I have an opinion. I hate them, but that's got nothing to do with my position. Anyways, gold. Now, this was pretty ugly today. Okay. The reversal in gold. Okay. Because it looked like gold was getting ready to bust to the upside. Okay. Get back over 1,800 by a little bit. Okay. And then reversed. Okay. And actually closed on its low of the day. Now, I can't get excited about the volume, so I can't call it a blow off. Okay. To me, we're back into now going to probably at worst or at best, depending on which side you're on, test 1740. And I think clearly 1810 is resistance. Okay. So 1740 for today to 1810. Again, this looks awful. Okay. And obviously we're still short, and we won't be reversing today. Okay. So that would tell me that, well, we're probably still going lower. Okay. And this is nothing more than a little bit of a bounce. Now, it looked pretty strong for a while. I didn't write about it for about 4 or 5 days. I got tired of all the bashing, the hate mail, because manipulation is all BS and it's crap. And I'm tired of getting the same story on the JP Morgan, trial, which is not about manipulation, it's about spoofing. which are completely two different things. But in the meantime, so here we are. Okay, right now, 1810, 1740. Silver, same thing, but worse. Okay, silver's been weaker. It remains weaker. And I would say that 2050 is resistance. And to me, you're coming all the way back down to 19, probably 18. I would not be surprised at this point to see silver take out the lows here at 18. But for today, 19 to 20 and a half. Okay. Pelosi should be bounced. I don't know if this was a Pelosi bounce, but Pelosi should be bounced. Okay, on her head. Of course, that probably wouldn't bother her. She ain't got nothing up there anyways. Platinum, which we don't trade, again, it's stuck. It don't go anywhere. Okay, it looks to me, it certainly looks fine if it can break above now. Now you would say, if you're a platinum person, which I own some, but I don't trade it actively. But, if it gets through, 905, 906 and holds, it could trend. Okay. But in the meantime, every time it's tried to break out, it's failed. Okay. But again, it's also not liquid enough. But I do buy physical on a regular basis. Copper, it had a little bit of a rally. Remember what I said last week? I said it looked a little bit better and it was starting to try to lift off a little bit. Okay. And I didn't want to sell into that pattern. Remember? Okay. And it did pop, but it failed where you might have expected at about 360, 358. And now we're headed back south. We're still short. And obviously it's not going to change today. I would suspect you're now going to be in a range, probably 338 to 360, 338 to 350, 360, 358, something like that. Okay. Now this is the conundrum. Okay. The grain markets. Yesterday, Friday they were trying to soar. They got clobbered. Were they higher yesterday? Maybe they were higher yesterday, then they ended up closing lower. They're lower today. But when you really just look at it, okay, and you go, okay, now forget about this because this is a prior month. But if we look at it in the current contract, okay, what are we really in? Okay, all you guys know what this is. You're just churning around. You're just rotating around the mean right now. Okay, just their rotation. And again, I think we're going a lot higher. Now we're short, so let's be fully disclosed. I'm short, but I think we're going a lot higher. Okay, but I think all you're seeing now is a rotation. Okay, there's a couple of factors here that I think are happening. Number one, it's very quiet. Number two, we're in the middle of planting's over. Harvest hasn't started yet. We're kind of like in the middle of nowhere that every farmer becomes a weatherman. Okay. And we get these things. But I also think that the big fund money is trying to bust these markets. You've heard me talk about this in the past. They're trying to create what's called forced liquidation. Okay. And if they can get the banks to panic, which is not hard to do, especially when you're at $6 corn instead of $3 corn. If you can get the banks to panic, they're going to force their farmers that borrowed money to liquidate. Okay. So what does forced liquidation do to a market? It crushes the market, which would leave it for the funds to come in and clean up and buy at much lower prices. Okay. Now, is that manipulation? Is that spoofing? It's a little bit of both, I suppose. But again, it's only because there's a weak player in the middle, which is the banks. Okay. And if you can figure out where the bank's going to panic, okay, that's in my opinion, what they're trying to do here. Now, again, am I right? I don't have any idea, but that would be certainly my guess. Okay. In the meantime, we're short, and I would say that we should probably be watching 570 to 620. Big range, but look at the range. It's not, I don't have to show it to you. It's right there in front of you. Yeah. Soybeans, which we got long yesterday, and even by them to a dip, they continue to dip. Okay. Yesterday and today. But this is almost the same pattern. The only thing that looked different was you had a much stronger rally, which unfortunately triggered a reversal, which has now been all evaporated. Okay. Again, But if I look at the grain, it's the soybeans, I'd say most likely 1330 is going to be a bottom, and you get 1480 as a top. And again, they were at one point yesterday, they were down 70 cents. So it's not like they can't go that far. Okay. And wheat, which we're still short, and again, but wheat actually looks like it has found not a bottom necessarily, but maybe some hope. Okay. The volatility, the price volatility in wheat is not anywhere near as great as it was. Okay. What's up there, Mr. Houston, Mr. Engineer from Houston? Okay. The volatility, the price volatility is not anywhere near what the others are. Now, it's interesting when you know that the biggest crop in play here is wheat because of what's going on in Russia and Ukraine, that they're getting clobbered. But there you go. So price still remains king. We remain short. I would look at probably thinking that 770, 755 is probably support, and 840 is probably resistance. But again, I would love to get long. Okay. If I can get long inexpensively, okay, and keep my short position, I probably would do that. Okay. But I can't, so I won't. Okay. But again, it looks like we found maybe a bottom. Okay. Because again, I do believe that the grain markets and the rest of the commodities are going to be flying at some point. Okay. So I think that it's just something to look at. And of course, I'm just going to switch charts because for the protein complex, Thinkorswim is better. At least it's better because I don't understand the ones I'm looking at. Okay. So as we look at feeder cattle, okay, which we are long, again here, first of all, okay, I look at this chart, and if you've heard me talk on RFD, okay, what I say almost every day is, well, yeah, they look good. We're long, but I don't think they're going a lot higher. Okay. I think that I really think you're peaking probably around 182 if you get that high. I don't think they're breaking either, though. That's the interesting part of a market. In my eyes, when I look at this and I base inflation and I base what's going on, these are probably at the upper end of their price range from a consumer standpoint. Okay. And if crude oil takes off again to the upside, I think these will come down. However, from a charting standpoint, they're very bullish. Okay. But again, I don't think you're going to see this mass explosion to the upside. Sure, could we go up back to 182, 183? Of course. Okay. In fact, we went up and we got overbought. We came right down. We're just circulating around the mean right now. But basically, you're really just stuck in consolidation for the last couple of weeks. And I think that's going to exist until they actually really probably break to the downside. Unless there's some major catastrophe health-wise or something with cattle, I don't think they're going too much higher. Now, I don't think they're breaking here. I think they vacillate within, probably a $10 range. Okay. And I think the same goes for what is known as fat cattle. Okay. That's kind of just range bound. Again, we've reached, now double tops, as you know, were long. So this would be considered an uptrend. Double tops are not, even though it would have worked here, are not what we'd be looking for in an uptrending market. Okay. You'd be looking for a double bottom in an uptrending market to buy. You're looking for a double top in a downtrending market to sell. But I think this is the same pattern. Okay. I think you're just going to see consolidation until they possibly go lower. Again, I don't see a lot of room to the upside because I just don't know. The consumer will not be able to support this market, in my opinion. Okay. And again, at the end of the day, who eats steak? Okay. The consumer eats it. Okay. Those are commodities that, are going to be consumed. Okay. And I don't, if crude goes back over 100 and, we start seeing some other things, I can't imagine the consumer can afford to go out for a steak, okay, and pay $68 at a restaurant for a steak, let alone whatever it costs in a grocery store. Okay. For me, I'm probably thinking this is probably 135 to 138. Okay. And hogs, I think they've also reached their fair price, but really we should be looking at October hogs. Okay. Even though the August is still in play, but at the end of the day, I think around the buck, around 100, 95 to 105 is what I'd be watching. Again, we're long, but I don't see a dramatic amount of upside movement coming, with the exception of, if there was some disease, if you go back in history and you look at when hogs made all-time highs, I think at 138, there was what they called the PED virus. And if you watched cattle and a lot of fats and feeders back around just before that, or just after that, when they were at 240 and 170, there was a reason of health behind it. Other than that, again, the consumer is going to determine the prices before this is all done. Okay. And I cannot imagine that there's going to be heavy demand. Okay. Natural gas, which we're long, it peaked and it ran and suddenly it stopped. Now, I know that this does not look great, this chart. Okay. I know that it failed on the rally. I know there's a lack of volume. I know that I as much as I don't want to be long, I'm not necessarily in a hurry. Natural gas is such a wild animal when it trades. Okay. And, it's higher priced, right? So the swings become bigger, but the exposure in this product is what? It's always to the upside. Mad cow disease. Is that what it was? Or are you telling me I have mad cow disease? Both could be true. I remember it. Every day I went on RFD TV and said, sell. I get 240 feeders, 172 fats every day. I used to tape for them before they were live on air. Every day go sell. But anyways, we'll see. I think that you get 750 as support. I think obviously 950 is resistance. A very volatile commodity. And again, when they get volatile products, when they get more expensive, they get more volatile. Okay, again, simple math. Okay. Crude, on the other hand, again, was up all day, but looks like it wants to continue to go lower. Okay. I mean, again, this is the approximately 45-degree angle. Okay. Bounced up to it, failed. Here we are. So what happens tomorrow? Okay. Well, it can certainly bounce back up and test the top. Okay. It can certainly bounce back up there. It wouldn't be a surprise. But it could break to the downside again tomorrow. Now, we're still short. So my assumption will be it's going to break to the downside. Okay. Now, am I right? I don't know. Okay. But I don't have to know. Okay. I just got to play the price action. That's all that I have to do. I don't have to know for a fact what it's going to do. I just have to know to be able to play. Okay. What's up, Guitar Boy? So based on what I'm watching, I think you better watch 93, 94 because this could break hard. Okay. And take us down back into the 80s. Okay. Now, again, I'm not predicting anything. I'm just saying that we're in a downtrend. It's pretty clear. We've been consolidating for about 3 weeks. Every attempt to break to the upside has failed. Well, usually, when they get tired of trying to buy them, what are they going to do with them? Okay. If they're tired of buying, what are they going to do? Okay. They're going to sell them. So we'll see. Meantime, for today, Connie, 92 to 100. Okay. In the soft world of commodities, cocoa, which we're still short. Again, this is like a never land. Okay. It's almost identical to crude. It just goes sideways. Okay. But it doesn't break to the downside either. It's had a couple of false breakouts to the downside and one false breakout to the upside. Okay. Look, if you try, I wouldn't listen. If you're not in the portfolios, I wouldn't recommend you trading it. Okay. But if you are trading it, 23 to 23.80. Okay. Cotton, we're still short. And look, this is just death, right? It's just going sideways. Nobody cares. I don't even know if there's any cotton out there. I know the guys that I know don't even have any, the producers. Okay. So, we'll see. That was one of my first TV spots on cotton. They want to know how much it was going to affect the cost of a pair of jeans. I said, well, first of all, the cost of cotton in a pair of jeans is about a fraction of a percent. So it really should have no effect. But naturally, the retailer will tell you that it's, oh my God, my prices are so high. In the meantime, we're just going sideways here. We're short I would just say this: 90 to 100, which is kind of silly when we're in such a tight range. What else am I going to tell you? Okay, it's still a while. Just because it's been in a tight range does not take away the fact that it's a wild commodity. Okay, and moreover, trades more in the middle of the night than it trades anywhere else. Mississippi College good, Texas not so good. Right? Okay, thank you. Yeah, actually, I was referring to Texas. There you go. Okay. Sugar, okay, which we're short. And again, notice, are you noticing some of the common themes? Now, this is broken down, okay, and now consolidating in a breakdown, okay, which would indicate more than likely that we head south, okay. That doesn't mean it won't consolidate. Remember, a trend or consolidation can last for an extended period of time. No, there is no expiration date on consolidation, nor is there any expiration date on a trend. So right now it's consolidating. This could go on. Certainly it could go on for weeks, months, nobody knows. Right now it's sideways, but it's certainly on the bearish side of the market, because this is certainly the key resistance in here, okay, into a downtrend. I mean, if you're looking at this, I'd make it, 17 to 17 to 18, but looking for it to go below 17, looking for it to go in the 16s probably. OJ, which were long, it popped a little bit. It's now just sitting there again, looking right at resistance. Okay. Now, again, it had a big move up. Remember, too fast to the top goes either sideways, which it is doing now, or it breaks back down, or it continues. It didn't continue. It's now going sideways. We will assume for today that it continues to go sideways until it breaks to the upside. That's the only assumption I can make for today. Okay. And again, I wouldn't trade this with Confederate money if it wasn't in the portfolio. But if you are trading it, I would be looking at, probably 168 to 175. Oh, my brother, what's up, Cap? The other captain. You're never late, man. You're my star. Okay. You're my pilot. I tell stories about you all the time. Okay. Coffee. Quit drinking coffee. Let's go. We're short. Let's go on strike. No coffee no soup for you. And we're short. I mean, this has been pretty wild. It is a wild market, right? I mean, a lot of drug dealing going on in the coffee markets as well. So, but it looks pretty weak. I still think that I do think, when we talk about the soft commodities, okay, I do believe that they're going to have a monster rally. Okay. Again, I don't think that anything has really changed from that standpoint. Okay. I think that between the food shortage, between what's going on in the worldwide economies and everything else, I think commodities explode to the upside. Okay. Remember, when the equities do break, if they do, and I cannot predict that they will, but we assume they might. Okay. That money's got to go somewhere. And typically one of their favorite resting spots is commodities. Okay. Starting with the grains, moving into the softs. So besides the fact that I think we're going to have a shortage, besides the fact that I think other things and the economy sucks, okay, I think these prices have to go higher. But again, I've exposed every position that we have so far. Or lumber, which we don't trade. I mean, you can't trade it. It's only a bellwether to watch. This might have found some sort of a bottom, but again, remember, it came from 1800, went down to the high fours, went back to about 1200. Now it's back at 5. But the overall view would be pretty ugly, right? Now, housing is going to be bad. Building is going to be bad. You're suddenly the housing market has slowed down a little bit. Okay. In Vegas previously, you put a house up, you sell it the same day, basically. Okay. Well, my neighbors are selling their house. Okay. and they haven't sold it. Interesting. I find it interesting, but I think there's a lot of stuff going on. Why do you expect a big rebound? I think this is going to be a short supply. Okay. I think for sure in food, all the food products are going to be short. Okay. Weather is rough. We already had Brazil and Australia miss pretty bad with the war in Ukraine and Russia, with 30% of the wheat crop basically out of commission. I think we have a food shortage. No, not a chance, Captain. Or private, excuse me. You're the private, not the captain. I'm the captain. Private, not a chance. Okay. So I think there's a lot of things to look at and watch. But at the end of the day, okay, it always comes back to the same thing. It comes back to the price action that you're seeing in the market. Okay. Because nothing trumps price. Okay. That is the one thing you must always remember, no matter how hard trading can be. Now, we trade live together for an hour every day with my members there. Okay. It's been like pulling teeth, but we've made money. Okay. Today I gave him, it was one of three things. I don't know how everybody did, but it either made, lost, or broke even. But it was hard to call what everybody did. But again, and our shorter term day trader's dream has been having trouble getting trades, lost a little bit of money today. But at the end of the day, okay, that's just telling you that there's not much going on. So price always trumps everything else. And the lack of action creates the lack of opportunity. And until the opportunities return, you have to be extremely conservative and passive while you're waiting. You are not going to force the market to go in the direction that you would like it to. It is much better to sit it out. And basically what I've been doing every day is trading for the hour and then go into the pool. Okay. All right. I'm going to stop the first half of this and we're going to come back. I'm not going anywhere, but I have to stop the recording so you guys don't have to listen to this twice. Hold on. Where am I at here? I got to figure. I got confused. I'm confused. It's Tuesday, not Monday. Stop. Yep. Thank you, darling. Okay. And let's get to Monday. And we are rolling. What's up? What's up, everybody? And if you're only here for part two, well, here it is. Here's part two. And this is the Monday call with all its goodies that go along with it. And of course, yeah, trying to tame it was a dumb process. Listen, we have the master of dumb in charge. So, I mean, what can I tell you? And we have the imbecile in charge that's in China right now. Okay. But very good at stealing and manipulating and passing a big bill to benefit some stock they bought. So that's all. I guess it's not so dumb, right? So Tuesday to Monday. Yeah. Anyways, so I think somebody posted, I think it was Captain posted, but the average cost of living is like $6,000 a year more. Okay. Now we all know that you're paying more money. So either you're doing what? Either you're cutting back, okay? Either you're cutting back on what you're spending, or if you're living the same lifestyle, you're spending about $6,000 a year or more. Now, for many, it may not be a big deal, but for a big percentage of the population, this is a gigantic deal, okay? And it's everywhere, okay? No place has been left without higher prices, except for, of course, Vegas and bubble. Okay. But, I think that when you remember what's going on, okay, and when you remember the stories, I mean, you know what you're paying. So you know that you're in a recession. Okay. You know that the economy ain't worth a shit. Okay. Does anybody know why Pelosi's touring Asia? She doesn't know why she's touring Asia. She wants to create more problems, I'm sure. Okay. So we all know, listen, this is, there's nothing more telling than looking at your own bank account, okay, or looking at what you're doing, okay, and how your life is being affected. Because you, like millions of others, are in the same position. Okay. So they can tout off with their transitory, I'm not sure. No, you're not really paying more, it's just your imagination. So not only have they devalued the currency, but they've raised the prices. So you get the double bang. Okay. You get it all. You get the World's Fair. Okay. And of course, reminder, Vegas with Bubba, the early bird expires on Friday, August 5th. Okay. We did reduce the price for this year because of the high inflation, and we will be at the Circa. So my costs didn't get reduced. My costs are much higher, but I don't care. Okay. I'm for you. Okay. This, I don't need that one. I don't know why I left it in there. To all of you who serve this country, whether you police, fire, military, we always have to thank you, because unfortunately, you seem to be needed more than ever on a daily basis. I mean, it is so scary and so crazy everywhere. Okay. And if it wasn't for you guys, okay, we wouldn't be able to do many of the things we do, and we wouldn't have the defense of our country. But of course, our president keeps selling our war oil, the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, to China without replacing it. Now that makes a lot of sense. Okay, there's another beautiful thing that they're doing. I would love to know the reasoning behind that. In the meantime, okay, boy, and isn't it shocking that we're in this situation? Did anybody not see this coming? I mean, if you've been on this call, you knew in 2020, in November of 2020, that oil prices were going to the moon. Okay, that was the words that came out of our mouths the day after the election, or the Monday after the election. There is no doubt that this was going to be the disaster. So who can be shocked by what's happened? Okay, we can be appalled, we can be pissed off, but you can't be shocked. You knew this when you knew the results of the election. You knew it was going to happen. Okay, lying about the economy will make the coming crash worse. Now, are they not lying about what's going on? Does anybody dispute the fact that they're lying about everything that goes on in this country financially? And I'm going to throw this in, including the banks and their stress test. Okay. But can anybody dispute that fact, that they lie about what's actually happening, just like they're trying to change how to define a recession? Okay. I mean, hello, recession deniers. It's already time to ponder a third quarter negative GDP. Well, I don't know how we're not going to have negative. Okay. Again, there's a lot of problems, right? The first is getting goods. Okay. There is no supply chain, basically. There is no delivery of goods coming. Okay. Kind of keeps shutting down with fake COVID. Okay. Does anybody here really believe that China is shut down because of COVID? And I'm just curious. You can answer. I don't get mad. I'm curious. I think it's a bunch of BS. I think it's more of a penalty and more of a show of power to the United States when they shut down. Okay. Not that it's anything else. Okay. U.S. household debt tops 16 trillion amid rising inflation. Well, so now let's walk back for a minute. Okay. Who's the creditor on all that debt? The banks are. Okay. Now, do we believe that the banks actually followed the rules of lending? It's not bad enough when they were doing fractional banking at 10-1. And then, of course, when the brain surgeons of the Federal Reserve lifted that restriction, you don't think the banks were lending it like 30 and 40 and 50-1, do you? They wouldn't do that, would they? They wouldn't put our economy at risk again, would they? By doing that? You bet your ass they would, because to them, it's free money because they're too big to fail anyways. But how's all this going to get paid back? Okay, where's the money going to come from? Okay, when people don't want to work anymore, you can't get people to work. You can't get enough goods in the stores. I mean, Walmart's, I'd say 75% full, 80 maybe. Grocery stores are about 70 to 80% capacity. Okay. They don't even have any back stock anymore. Where's it all going to go? How's it going to be paid back if you can't sell them? One thing we know for sure, simple economics. Okay. I got to be able to sell what I have to pay for. Okay. And to pay and to make my payroll and pay for lights. If I don't have enough goods, I can't do that, can I? The words of wisdom from our friend Connie as always delivers. Believe you can, and you're halfway there. And again, that's very important, right? Belief in what you can do. And, that tied in with the willingness to take risk and understand that, again, this, like any other business, there's going to be losses. Okay. It is not always a holiday. We do go through losing periods. You make bad decisions, but if you believe that you can get it done and then you follow the game plan that you constructed for yourself, then you're never going to have that much of a problem. Okay. And of course, their State of the Union, Air Force One is traveling 7,000 miles to Saudi Arabia to beg for oil. I'm thinking Air Force One would leave a smaller carbon footprint traveling to Texas and Oklahoma and beg Americans for oil. Okay. And again, it makes no sense to me that we refuse to pump our own oil. The carbon footprint does not change whether we buy it elsewhere or we pump it here. So why are they holding us up? Somebody answer that for me, please. Somebody's got to have an answer. And of course, I've been bitching for an hour, but I get one more. And it obviously ties into everything we talked about. Why is Biden flying to Saudi Arabia and Pelosi to China? Are they turning over the keys to the United States of America? Okay. Is this over? Is this the final deal? Okay. They're going to let now China come in and take us over? I mean, as I told you, we knew they were going to Taiwan. There was never a doubt that they were going to Taiwan. Okay. On the China COVID shutdown, at our China operations, they quarantined the workers, and the fact they're doing lockdown, no going home to transmit COVID. Okay. Do they really have COVID, though? That's my real question. I'm a firm believer that COVID is bullshit. Okay. It was a genetically engineered disease, anyways, in my opinion. Well, actually, that's proof. That's not my opinion. That was actually proved correctly. And it was sent over here on purpose. Okay. And it's not anywhere near as dangerous as they try to make it out to be. No, I could be wrong. Okay. At least half the country is hypnotized. No kidding. Anyways, so as we look at the markets, okay, and of course we've got left the Dow future Yankee Michael, which we are long. Look, it's been nicely trending higher. Okay. I don't understand what's driving it, but it doesn't really matter if I understand it. Okay. The bottom line is going up. But of course, we do know that markets will rise at an average of 8.5% year over year anyways. We know that money will go to where it's treated best. And we know that where else is it going to go right now? Okay. And the devaluation of currency automatically makes prices higher. Okay. Remember, I started trading it down when it was 800. Okay. So in the meantime, I would suggest probably 32,000, 32,150, 32,000 is support. Resistance right now is at probably 33,000. Trading is one thing, but as an investor or as part of the portfolios, I'm not looking to sell. As a trader during the day, I'll take either side of the market. I don't care. But looking at just the pure numbers, I'd make it 32,000, 33,000. Okay. That's just pretty simple, but it looks pretty solid as it still wants to go higher. And you could actually, again, I'm not going to make this case, but I could, that today was actually a blow off, which would be a buying opportunity as well. Okay. Now I'm not going to make that case, but I could. The S&P echoes Sierra, very similar. Okay. And now it's holding firmly above 4,000. We thought that 4,000 might be the resistance. Now we were long, and it continues to go higher. Now we did go up too fast. So what are we doing now? So now we're consolidating. Okay. So it looks to me that you're probably somewhere, let's say 40.80 to 41.50. Okay. Baker Hughes rig count barometer of oil drilling, 767 up 279 from last year. 2 years ago, averaged 1,200. Right. Okay. Which means we're not drilling enough. Okay. We need to get you over there so you can give them something to make their minds feel better. Anyways, I would say I'd be looking at this and I'd say, sports probably at about 4070 to 4150. Okay. NASDAQ, look the same, if not better. And it was interesting. After we were last together, we saw Microsoft come out with earnings. We saw Google come out with earnings, Apple, Amazon. But the interesting story were Microsoft. Who was the same day as Microsoft? Was it Microsoft and Google the same day? They both missed. They were both getting crushed early and both ended up much higher in the aftermarket and then opened and have gone higher since. Okay. So again, this tells you what you need to know about the news or what the earnings reports are. Okay. They're bullshit. You don't need them. Price will tell you everything long before it gets there. Okay. In the meantime, the NASDAQ looks like it's reached, a peakish here. I think you're looking at, 13.1 as some resistance, but the trend is up and it's pretty solid. Okay. And I think your support's probably at about 12.7. Okay. And looks like they want to go higher. Look, I don't have to agree. And of course, Russell has been a little bit stronger, but now the characteristics of the Russell are taking on very similar characteristics as what? As the NASDAQ. Okay. Look at the pattern. Again, remember, patterns are the same. It doesn't matter what you're looking at. Okay. And you can see that both have kind of cleared and are both consolidating, okay, but have not gone up at the excruciating or too fast of a rate and are really just trying to trend a little bit higher and meeting some overhead resistance, whereas the Russell's meeting some overhead resistance, right about 1910. Okay. I mean, that's from old. So you would suspect that the next resistance is going to be about 1920. Okay. I think you're looking at in the Russell, probably 1850 to 1920. Okay. And the VIX, well, finally got some sort of a bounce. But if this were a stock, which again, remember the chart's a chart, you would think this might be in a downtrend, right? I mean, the trend is certainly lower in volatility. Now, volatility doesn't mean the market's going down, but they are more similar, right? A down market, a panic down market will typically drive the VIX higher because of the dynamics of what the VIX is made of and how the options are classified. Okay. People quit selling naked puts immediately. That makes volatility go higher. It doesn't mean they're buying puts. It just means they stop selling them. Okay. So, but it does look like we got a little bit of a bounce, but you still have basically a downtrend in volatility, which would continue to lead me to believe that the put sellers will be continuing to sell puts, which is a bullish strategy. Trying to own stock at a cheaper price. It's a stupid strategy, but one applied by many. Okay. And also, okay, call buyers are always the leaders. Okay. But then you got, the sellers that put spreads, the whole thing. So volatility should continue to go lower based on the current trend. Now, whether it will not, we don't know the answer. Okay. But that's what you're looking at. Remember, the markets are the markets. They trade over and over again. They do the same things over and over again. The only different, they do them from different levels, and different markets do the same thing at different times. Okay. It just depends on what the overall pattern of that particular market is. Apple, Alpha Papa Lima, did have earnings, did pop pretty good on earnings, got as high as what? How high did it get in the, actually, I could look it up. I don't have to ask. Nobody wants to talk to me today. No, I have to look it up myself. I will look it up myself because nobody wants to talk to me. All right, we got as high as 164. Okay, which looks like it's pretty good resistance. Okay, now, okay. So in the meantime, we are long Apple. Okay, and it does look as suspected that It went up on its earnings and has now been working lower. I would think you're going to want to watch this 155, 156 area. Yeah, I know last week somebody asked about filling gaps. I would suspect it's going to fill, but again, that's not what I'm looking for. It looks like it happens to be a little bit weaker right now. It looks like the earnings pushed up a little bit too fast. Okay. This could have been classified as a potential blow off as well. I would look at this and say 155 to 164. That's what I'm watching, but we are long. Again, always give you what we stand so you know exactly what I'm coming from. Alpha Golf. Now, we are still short this in the portfolio. It's been pretty flatlining. I think it looks pretty good. Okay. It's kind of as I think about the markets, and I thought about it during today, like it looked like we're at a decision point. This kind of looks like it's at a decision point too. And certainly I would rather be long it than short it right now. I mean, we've done very well on the short side with it, but I think that there's not a lot of room. Certainly if you're not in the portfolios, don't trade this to the short side. You should want to be a buyer only when you think silver might break out. In the meantime, it's dead solid. It's like really just, believe it or not, it's like 720 to 780. Okay. There's not much, obviously the $7 stock, so there's not a lot of room there. Okay. But we are still technically short, although it does look like it's trying to find some footing. But again, if silver continues to go back where I think it is, then this will participate with it. AMD, Alpha Michael Delta, which we are long. And again, notice the pattern, right? When it started to trend higher, okay, exploded too fast off, came back right to where it should have come back to approximately, and take off again. So we're long. I would expect a little bit of a pullback. And I would say that if I'm looking at this chart, certainly 92 is support, 100 is resistance. But it's certainly, I would be, if I were going to add to my position, I'd be looking at about 95 or so. Okay. Or trying to wait for it to come all the way back down. Either way. Now, again, if I want to make a case, this could be considered a blow off action today. Spike in volume, spike in price, look to get short. And I will give you full disclosure. If this opens higher tomorrow, I will be selling call spreads in this for a week, on a weekly basis. I will, even though I'm long in the portfolio as a trade, I will take a short position through selling spreads. It's the only way that I will do it, but I will do that. Okay. Amazon, Alpha Michael, Zulu November, obviously great earnings, I guess. I mean, the stock exploded after earnings. Okay. We don't have this in yet. It will be in soon. I do personally own it. Okay. We have a position on it from the Saturday call. And as I said, I would sell those extra calls now and just be done. I think you have found some resistance. We've actually filled, hadn't filled, we left the double gap, right? Down and up. I would suspect that we're going to see some pullback here now. It could break higher, but I would suspect that this is probably pretty solid resistance. I don't think it's going to go much past 140. I would use 140 as a resistance level, and I'm not urging you to go out and sell it at 140, but I don't think it's going much higher. Okay. And I think you're probably looking at right now, I think you're looking at probably 128 to 140. Okay. Bravo Alpha. And of course, we're still short this. Again, you're going to get a bounce. They had earnings, this week? August 4th? What's the, tomorrow. No, today's the 2nd, right? There's August 2nd, Thursday. Okay. So, but again, like other charts we've looked at, it is broken down to the key support. Okay. The trend is certainly lower. Okay. You had a blow off the other day, which had actually created a later rally, but it looks pretty bad. I would suspect that you're looking at about 85 to 95. Now, I would not, if you're not in this already, like we are, I would not be adding to it now. I would wait until after the earnings. Okay. It always makes more sense to wait till after an announcement. If you know an announcement's forthcoming, why try to guess the side of the announcement? Why not wait to react to how it reacts? Okay. So 85 to 95 for now, but we are short. Bido, which I forget what we decided, but I don't know. I got it up here anyways for today. It looks just like Bitcoin, right? It looks very solid now. Suddenly it's starting to roll. It's got some good action. It's got to go. Its next print on the way up before it turns on again. It's got to be about 16 or so, 15 and a half. So it looks pretty solid. I do own this. And if you want to be involved in Bitcoin, if you think there's a Bitcoin's a play, this is just another way to play it. This is directly correlated to the futures. Okay. We have not traded it yet. We have it no position, but it's 13 to 15 will be the levels to watch. And BitQ, which I told you again, if you wanted to gamble, this looked like it was a reasonable gamble. Okay. Now it is coming up to some resistance. And again, this is purely a play in the crypto world. Okay. If you like the crypto world or you want to get involved with less exposure, this is the ways you can do it. We carry a couple of different ways. We only carry 2 ways in the portfolios, but again, I make it available for those who might want to play. Okay. That's really what it comes down to. I'm trying to give you the opportunity, if you choose to play in that space without going in risk. And I know Trader is very close to having the ability, and when they have it on their platform, you'll be able to trade the cryptos that are in the wallets, and you'll also be able to use that money as with margin, okay, like you do normal trading. So it'll be much better for the trader, and it should also be much better, believe it or not, for the cryptos themselves, because it will increase their liquidity as well. Okay. In the meantime, again, this is strictly purely a gamble, which means I'm not a seller for sure. I'd look at it at $7 if I was going to buy some more. Chewy, Charlie Hotel Whiskey Yankee. We're so long. Look, came down, tested our support level at 38, and is now running back up again. Filled up this little gap for those who ask about gaps, and failed right at the bottom here. I think we're probably going higher. 40 is an area to watch. 38 below. On the upside, 46. Okay, so make it 40 to 46, Connie. Okay. Coin, Charlie Oscar India November, which we are long, had a nice little update, but more importantly, after the potential blow off to the downside, and I didn't call that, I'm just saying potential, but it did rally nicely. It didn't get too crazy, didn't get too carried away. It's got earnings next week, I believe. Okay. I own this in my hedging portfolio. I own this in my 1A portfolio. I think I like it. I like the crypto space. I think we're going higher, but certainly I could see not getting involved either if you don't trade it. But I've accumulated a lot of shares on percentage basis. So, but it looks pretty good. And we are long. I would say that you're probably looking at, 70 is going to be probably some resistance. And if you can get through 70, then you're going to 80. And I think your support's probably around 60. So we'll go 60 to 80. BitQ is just a buy. It's just if they want to buy it at $7 or $6, whatever I said, $7. I mean, we don't own it in any portfolio. I have no direction on it. It's just purely a speculation gamble play. And speaking of speculation and gambling, DraftKings, which we're still having to be long. Okay. Now, I don't know if something's going on here. I don't know if they're anticipating earnings, which are next week, I think, or this week. Or maybe there is some takeover rumors. When you look at something like this, right, this has been pretty crappy, right? I mean, even where it's at now, it's still pretty crappy. And it's been pretty dormant, though. But suddenly, out of nowhere, it gets a $1.30 move, which is, almost 10% on some reasonable volume. So does that mean that maybe it's in play as a takeover candidate? I don't know. Okay. We are long it in the portfolio. Okay. I hold the position in it myself. Okay. Besides that, which again, I don't add to it anymore, but it is breaking out. Okay. Now, certainly based on everything that I teach you, okay, my expectation is a little bit of a pullback, but that pullback will probably be a buy. Okay. It does look like to me that there's something more beneath the surface here. Okay. Now it could be just another false alarm. Okay. Or false start. Okay. Mass adding. Yeah, but that's no news. Please. They didn't budge when New York added. Who's bigger, New York or Massachusetts? Okay. That got no news. But trust me, that ain't why it rallied today. Okay. I'm telling you. Okay. They already knew that. And there's no revenue coming from that yet either. They're not even in operation yet. But thank you for reporting. But I knew that. Okay. Based on the station that I listen to every day. Okay. And Josh Applebaum, who's one of the commentators, is from Massachusetts and been begging for it for years. In the meantime, again, we're long. I'd say that, 1450 is support. The next resistance is probably, $16. Again, I'm not adding more. I trade it in the portfolio. I'm not adding more into my other account. I'm hoping for a takeover to take me out of it. I'd like to get out. Okay. That's what I'd like to see. And this is some action that could be potentially more news coming. Okay. Could be. Facebook, or what is now called Meta, Michael Echo Tango Alpha. Okay. Which we are long. Look, it's hovering along the bottom here. It looks like crap. Okay. Personally, I like to see that jackass go broke anyways, but obviously I'll never go broke. But to me, you'll be lucky if it gets back to 170 anytime soon. It did pop on earnings and came right back down. There's obviously more trouble in Meta. Okay. I think it's like an assholes. What the? Hold on a second. You guys got to start putting crap on my chat. What a jerk. Anyways, so at the end of the day, I think there's more to the underlying story here. This looks really off. I guess I know we're long, okay, but it looks really bad. This stock don't look like it has much room to go anywhere in my eyes right now. Okay, we are long. I will tell you that 155 is probably the bottom end of support, and 155 to 170. Yeah. First Solar, look at this. Foxtrot Sierra Lima Romeo, which we're also long. Okay, look what happened. The earnings blew it out the doors. This is a blow off. Now, when we talk about the blow off pattern, remember we talk about the different ways it can resolve itself. Well, I thought it would resolve itself by coming back down. So I did sell some call spreads in here. Okay, although I am long it in the portfolio, but it ain't coming down so fast. So it looks like it's going to resolve out through consolidation. So for today, I would say probably 102 would be resistance, which I'm not a seller. And I think you're looking at 96 as some support. But I would not, if I were going to add or look to buy more, I think you're going to look at first 88 before you'd want to buy any more. Okay. So we'll make it 88 to 102, believe it or not. But there is some support, obviously, on the way down. GDX, Golf Delta X-ray. Okay. Look, this is, first of all, it's about as dead as it can get. Now, that can be good news or it can be bad news. We hold a position in our portfolio, which we are short. Okay. But it's really kind of stopped going down. It's just not going up yet. And it probably, if gold is getting ready to make a move up, which it doesn't appear to be the case based on today's action, this will probably move first. So the interesting fact to watch, just again, I don't trade this other than the portfolio. To me, it's not active enough for me to do anything. Okay. It doesn't move enough for me to do anything, but I would certainly watch it. And if it starts to move upwardly, you may want to consider that gold is going to turn. Okay. And however you want to choose to play it. In the meantime, this is really just like 24.50 to 26, which is it's a crap stock to begin with and very narrow anyways. Okay. Google, which we don't hold a position yet, but we will shortly. Again, they had bad earnings, took it down, and then took it right back up again. And it, again, is taking it back in. But really, in Google, what do you got? Okay. You have nothing but more than big consolidation. Okay. And certainly, I would have said this today, but it came down too fast, is I would sell the extra calls from our Saturday position in this. Okay. But I don't think we can get anything in now. I think I missed. It came down too fast once I decided to do it. But in the meantime, I think you're looking at 105 to 118 or so. I don't think we're going anywhere right now. I think it's going to continue in this consolidation phase. Again, there's a lot of issues out there that are troubling in general. So I think that's something just to look at. But in the meantime, I don't think it's going to get hammered. I do own it, full disclosure. Okay, but I think it's really just 105 to 118. GLD, which we added last week, it looked okay. It looked like it was starting to, try to run up a little bit. Okay, but it has failed. I think you're looking at 166 as resistance, 162 to 166. It doesn't move a lot. Basically, the only reason I added it back in to the call was for someone who want to play gold. It's just another way there's a number of different ways to try to play the future or the physical without playing it. But do yourself a favor. If you want to own this for like your retirement, buy physical metals. Don't buy paper metals. Okay. I don't think there's enough paper in the world. Enough gold in the world to cover all the paper that's outstanding. Okay. Just my opinion. Okay. If you're going to buy it to hold it and you're not going to be forced to puke and sell it, just buy physical metals. Okay. In the meantime, 162 to 166. Goldman Sachs, Gulf Sierra. Okay. And Gulf Sierra, we're long. It continues to go higher. Consolidated after a blow off, consolidated, and now it's broken up to the upside again. And look at this, right down on support. Now it should bounce from here. Okay, somewhere at 325 or so, maybe 327. But I would look for a bounce from here. This is almost textbook. Okay, broke out, came right back down. If it holds right here, okay, or within about 325, it's probably a buy. We are long, but this is classic action, blow off, resolved by consolidation, breakout, come right back to support. Okay. In the meantime, 325 to 340 kind. IWM, India Whiskey Michael, which we're still on. And this is just kind of going sideways as well. Again, remember, I know I'm being a little bit redundant, but 45 degrees, you escape from there. So it's either going to go sideways until these two intersect if we're going to remain in an uptrend, or we could see a little bit of a pullback back down. But just like moving averages, like anything else you might look at, I don't believe in being that complicated. To me, it's very simple. Just look at this way. Good afternoon. Okay. So, we're still long. I would think it looks to me, 185 support, probably this will probably be the resistance, 190. But I would not be a seller until it's time. LVS, which we've added, and again, very similar. Look at this. So LVS got relief out of Macau. Okay. Rallied hard, earnings and Macau pulled back right to support, right where it came back to. And here we are trying to rally it. I think this is 37 to 40, but it could go significantly higher, but certainly breaking out very nicely. Okay. The only monkey wrench in a stock like this is what? It's going to be what if something happens in Macau. Okay. I can only tell you this from being in one of their properties on Sunday nights. There ain't no recession at the Venetian. Okay. There ain't no problem there. That you would know there was anything going on in the world if you were in that hotel. Okay. I can just tell you that it's their whole balance sheet always ties back to Macau. Okay. Because they're even busier and people overreact to what happens there. In the meantime, 37 to 40, 42. Mara, Michael Alpha, Romeo Alpha, which we are long. Okay. Ferrari had blowout revenue. Rich are spent. Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't they? They got our money. They got our money. Why wouldn't they spend? Yeah. It looks like we got $10 support, $14 resistance. But again, settling in very nicely after coming off the bottom. Okay. Trying to sell it, could not. Again, we'll certainly tie to Bitcoin. Okay. And we'll see where it goes from here. In the meantime, we are long, and I would say 10 to 14 are the levels I'm watching, but I'm not a seller yet. And really, only in the portfolio by using options would I ever take a short position in a stock like this. Anyways, NIO, November India Oscar, okay, which we remain long. It remains dead. Okay, now this looks pretty crappy. And as I look at it, just from looking at it, okay, it looks like it's in a downtrend suddenly. Now, it hasn't gone far enough to trigger a net reversal. It looks like $19 is pretty solid support. It looks like 21 is pretty solid resistance. And, other than I own some that I had hedged originally, and own some in the portfolio, I mean, I don't watch as much. I'm almost totally away from any Chinese stocks anyways. I always thought they were suspect, the Chinese, the China, the government. And they've proven each and every time to be more and more so. And whether they're a value buy or not, I prefer to put my money elsewhere. Okay. I do very little investing in anything Chinese anymore that I know. Okay. In the meantime, 19 to 21, Nougat, dead. If it was a heart patient, they would declare it dead. Again, you can see that these are setting up, this GDX and the others are setting up for either a much bigger dramatic move even lower, okay, or the bottoms are in and they're going to explode to the upside. It's that thin right now. The line is that tight right now. Okay. Now we right now are still short. Okay. And I would say that 33 or so is the resistance. I think 28 is the support, but this is an extremely tight range. Now, the biggest problem with this particular one is what? The multiplier is smaller. It's harder to get it to move. And if it goes much slower, they're going to reverse split it, which only means they bring the price back up, divide it, take away your stock, and then crush it anyways. So anyways, 28 to 33, NVIDIA, November Victor Delta Alpha, okay, which we're still long. And look, again, looks pretty good. Again, you're noticing, we went through last time, we looked at a lot of things were stuck in consolidation. They've now broken out. Okay. Not a surprise. Okay. So you've got a trending market that's going higher, could pause here for a couple, broke above, held support. So we would suspect that it's going to continue to hold and try to make a run. And I would look at this and say 180 to 200. Okay. Now there's a little bit of resistance ahead of there. But again, we know that the expectation of movement is much bigger than anyways. I mean, hell, NVIDIA, expectation in the next 2 weeks. There you are. Let's see, price movement next to $15. There you go. See, that's why those numbers always make sense. Okay, because the expectation of the options is telling what the stock is supposed to do. Okay, not which way. Okay. Well, I don't know. I'm not there yet. I got to wait till I finish what I'm doing now. When I get there, you can ask me, but now you can't. Penn, Papa Echo November. Now, another story. Okay, look at this. So we're looking for the same thing from Penn and DraftKings, right? We're really looking for takeover candidates. Now, Penn and the portfolios we're short. I don't think we'll be short tomorrow. Okay, but we're still short. But look at a little bit more volume and a straight spike up. Okay, are they anticipating earnings? Are they anticipating football season? Or is there a player finally going to take them out of their misery and me with them? And that's what I'm hoping for. I don't have the answer, but certainly the pattern looks better. His breakout looks better. This looks solid. Ascending into it. I would suggest, again, I think you're looking at probably, right here where it's at is probably the first resistance, which if it can go through there, and if there's something going on here, then it's going to the next level. And if there's really something going on, God knows where it goes. Okay. Meantime, I wouldn't do anything crazy with this. My guess is it's going to reverse tomorrow. Okay. Qs, Quebec. Again, same thing. See, notice we popped above. Looks just like the future. Okay. I think you're looking at probably, 308 as some support, and your resistance is probably as high as, 330. Okay. Now, obviously, there's certainly some resistance at about 320. Okay. But this looks like it wants to go higher. Now, could we get a pullback? Of course. Wouldn't shock me either. Remember, you should never be shocked or surprised by what happens in the market. The pen levels were I said them once. I don't know. I don't remember anymore. I did say them though. 34 to 37 and then 40. Okay. Qs, and again, 310, 308 up to 320, 330. Okay. I just choose to use the wider levels because I know I'm long. I'm only looking to buy anyways for the moment. And I do not day trade the Qs. Okay. I day trade the futures of the Qs, but not the Qs themselves. Roku, Romeo Oscar Kilo Uniform, which got crushed on earnings. And fortunately, okay, and we're short, so that was good, but it has had a little bit of bounce, not a surprise. But look at where it's bouncing to. This is, if it's going to fail, this is where it's going to fail. Okay. Right in this area, between here and here will be the failure. And if we open higher tomorrow, I will be selling some call spreads in this as well. But again, right now you're looking at 64 to 80 as the levels. I think it's going below 64. That's my opinion. I think, as I said, when it was going through 100, I thought it was going lower. I think it's going lower now. Okay. I don't think it's going to stop. Okay. I think it's a bastardized industry that there's so many of them. I don't know, but we'll see. I give you right. Square Dance, Sierra, Quebec. Okay. Which we're long. They got earnings next week or this week. Tomorrow, I think, right? Or the 5th? The 4th. Tomorrow. Thursday. This looks great. Okay. This is broken from sideways action into an uptrend. Okay. Working perfectly. Okay. Which the first set of resistance should be probably right about where it's at, around 81 or so, 82. I think you're looking at then potentially 90, but you got earnings in a way. And again, I don't know I have no idea what they're expecting. I have no idea what they're going to deliver. I only know that we're long. I'm long it in my personal portfolio of hedging. But again, it wouldn't surprise me if it went either way, but based on what I'm looking at, it's probably going higher. And it hasn't, in my eyes, it has not anticipated what the number is going to be either yet. So I think it continues to move higher. In the meantime, we'll go 75 to 90. SPY, Sierra Quebec, Sierra Papa Yankee, like the same, broke out, went up a little bit too fast, had to go sideways to resolve it, doing a nice job of it. Okay. Looks to me probably 400, 405, 400 support. The first big test will be at about 420. Okay. And we'll see if it gets there, how it acts from there. But again, thin volume, not thin volume, doesn't matter. It still looks like it wants to go higher. And last week I told you if you want to take a shot somewhere to get long, this would be a play. Again, I didn't take it myself, but it was just one I was giving out if somebody wanted to make it. Again, it ran. It looks fine. I mean, again, but remember, it didn't go up nearly as fast as the NASDAQ because the multiplier is too low. Okay, that is the problem with these leveraged garbage. Okay, now I would say you're looking at 35 resistance and probably 30 support, 30 to 35. We carry no position anywhere in this. Okay. Tesla, look at that. What a nice pattern. Look at how nice that is. Okay. And again, what do you got here? You got an escape too far up, has to go either down or sideways. Could be a good candidate for selling some call spreads for a few days if you want to take a look at it tomorrow. I would say that the support's probably 850 to 950, 850 to 950. When Whiskey Yankee November, nice turned up, trending nicely, consolidating beautifully. Looks like it's trying to break out again. We'll see what it looks like from here. Right now, it looks like 65. There's some resistance. You look like probably 60 to 65, but it has all the makings of going to 70. Okay. And we are long. XBI, X-Ray Bravo India, pretty much consolidating. But again, remember we said that looked pretty good and it would probably go sideways. Remember from here. And it has done just that. Popped and now it's sideways. Look, this is probably 78 to 85. Okay. And Zoom, which is earnings, I think in 2 weeks. Look, it looks okay. It's above the real danger level, which is below 100. It's got some support, probably about 103, 104. Their first real resistance is about 112. Okay. And you're probably looking at, the range. Well, let's see what they're quoting for earnings. Let me just see. I can get a general idea right now. Earnings are looking for a move of about $20. So 20%. Yeah, so that could take it either direction, right? It could take it below 100, which would be very dangerous, or well above. Okay. In the meantime, for today, we'll look at it from 100 to 112. Okay. MPW. Why do I know that acronym? Who the hell is MPW? MPW. I know it. I know it is. I mean, the stock was good. To me, this probably has zero effect on earnings, would be my guess. MPW. My guess is this is probably trading at a very light volume, anyways. Light volume, light volatility. I mean, the stock looks fine. I don't trade it. Nice yield though. I might have to look at it. 7%. I mean, the stock looks good from a straight stock point. This earnings would not affect me here. Okay, if I were going to buy this, I could care less what the earnings are going to be. This stock doesn't move enough for me to worry about the earnings. Okay. I mean, if I were going to buy it, and I'm going to look at it now at 7%, what the hell? I'll take a shot and take a peek. And I'd buy it at 1650, bro. Avago, AVGO, Alpha, Victor, Golf, Oscar, Broadcom. I mean, it looks good. I mean, you could make any case you want from here. I'll make the case. It looks like it's trying to break to the upside. I don't trade it. Okay. So I don't have a position in it. But certainly if I owned it, I'd be hedged it. Okay. It looks fine. But again, you can make any case you want. And since I have no position and no opinion, my case is that it looks pretty good. It looks like it found a bottom and it started to rally. Okay. ADI. I know that one too. I don't care. Analog. I knew it was analog actually. This is almost a cup and handle pattern. I mean, look, this is pretty bullish looking stock. Okay. I don't trade it, I don't own it, but certainly if you did own it, I wouldn't be ashamed. And I think that you'll probably see it's got to hold about 165 to stay as bullish as it is. I'd have no problem being a buyer there at 165. Okay. Any other stocks you want me to take a look at? I mean, I will. I got a couple of minutes. In the meantime, I appreciate everybody making accommodations to come on Tuesday this week. Be careful. You still got a few earnings reports coming out, and the markets are still very, very tenuous and quiet. Square looks great. Okay. Did you ask me about a stock earlier that I didn't answer? I don't remember. You asked me something. I think you did actually. Okay, good. I'm glad I didn't miss it. Just be careful out there. Pins. Okay. That could be used in a lot of different terminology. Pinterest. I don't know. It looks like nothing. I had a big earnings must have been good. It popped and broke. I wish I'd have seen this. I'd have sold it. I'm not a fan of these kind of plays anyways. Okay. I don't understand it. So to me, I mean, if you own it, I expect probably a pullback back to 20 or 21 would not be a surprise. Okay. It certainly could break above there, but the very fact that it must have had good earnings and couldn't blow through it could spell some quiet times. But in the bigger picture, it's just in wide consolidation between 17 and 22 or so. Sorry, I wish I could be better. I wish I could give you better information. SMH. I don't know how to type. Fat fingers. I mean, it looks okay. I don't know. It's all right. I don't know. Not great, not terrible. It's kind of like in the middle of nowhere. And it's come up nicely, so that bodes well. It's coming into some resistance area here. I don't know. I don't really have great read on what this is going to do from here. You're welcome. My pleasure. HP. HP. That's not Hewlett Packard. Hewlett Packard. HW. Helmerich and Payne. Looks okay. I mean, it don't look great. I mean, basically, you split the chart, just turn them upside down. Certainly, this is not a great looking energy stock. Okay. I mean, you're certainly at resistance. Okay. I mean, I don't follow specific, just energy only, but certainly this doesn't look great. This looks like a mirror image of where it was 3 months before. I mean, again, is there any special thing about this company that you want? Okay. That I don't know. Okay. I mean, Oxy looks, better. It looks like it's more steady. And remember, Oxy came from $11 or $12 or less. I mean, I'll look at it. Listen, you asked me, I look at it. In my opinion, energy is going a lot higher unless we change our philosophy. And the philosophy will not change at least until November. Okay. So to me, we're energy stocks, energy itself is going a lot higher. Okay. That's all I can say. I don't have a crystal ball, but energy stocks have never been a bad idea. And no matter what happens in the energy world, I love you too, baby. Whatever happens in the energy world, we're still going to need to use crude and fossil fuels for the next 40 years minimum. Okay. So if the companies are good and strong, I'd be a buyer of them. Okay. At the right levels. That's my opinion. Okay. All right, kids. Listen, have a great night. Thank you so much as always. I appreciate it. We'll see you back here on next Monday. Okay. And of course, some of you I'll see in the morning live trading. And don't forget about Vegas if you're coming, because the deal is now. Adios, everybody. We'll see you later.